Today is Squeak's birthday, her 5th birthday. Well, I'm going to start telling you the story of Squeak, because now that she's 5 years old, it's quite, she has quite a long but interesting and unique story. So, I had Pip, you'll see some pictures up on the screen, Pip, and her best friend, the one who was raising her, had just died. Like, it was a big shock for all of us, but she was 6, so it wasn't like too much of a shock, which is just a natural death, which is good, I guess. Because she died, we needed a new guinea pig. We can't just keep guinea pigs alone. For about a month, I was calling pet shops, asking if they've had a female guinea pig. All of them either said that we don't have any guinea pigs at the moment, or we have males, which is really frustrating. And then finally, they said, one pet shop said, we've got a female, you can come over. We went over and they said, we just discovered this, and they pulled out a fluffy little baby Squeak. She was so small and she was having the craziest case of the zoomies, and she was scared of like every single little thing. They could not catch her. Like, she was obviously freaked out about everything. And the pet shop owners were obviously really shocked that she was existent, but that makes sense because when it's only one guinea pig baby, the mum doesn't get as fat as the mums, so it can become a surprise. It's not very obvious that the mum is pregnant when it's only one baby. And she was also pretty big for a baby guinea pig. I've seen newborn baby guinea pigs before when I was 9. And so I didn't know that she was newborn, but now that I look back at it and think about how they were saying it and what they were saying, she must have been like 2 or 3 or a week at the most old. So, and they just like, they weren't meant to have a guinea pig there that was less than 5 weeks old. So they just kind of sold her to us for $35, which is really cheap for them. Normally they sell guinea pigs for $70, but they just like wanted to get rid of her straight away because they just didn't want to, I don't know, I guess they just didn't want to be breaking the rules. I really don't know. But because Squeak was separated from her mum, she was like super scared and she didn't know what was going on. She was like, she wanted to jump out of our hands, but she was so cute. And at the time, we didn't know that she was underage, and otherwise we would have just been like, no, we need to take the mum as well. But, we need to buy the mum as well, or we would have just left her there, or like something like that. I don't really know what we would have done if I knew, the facts. I was like 12 at the time, so my mum was pretty much in charge of everything. So, like, if I had known at the time, then my decision would have been to buy the mum and the baby, but I don't know how much her mum would have agreed to that at the time, but we can't change the past anyway. So when we got home, she was squeaking and squeaking and squeaking for her mum. She was like, where's my mum? And then we got home. I remember we were standing right near the steps of the door, and I opened up the box to show my brother, and maybe it was my dad that I was showing, I don't know. And I was standing up, and she just jumps out of the box. Luckily, I catch her, which I don't know how I had those reflexes back then. And she was like so freaked out, and all she really wanted to do was leave, but she couldn't. And so we introduced her to Pip, her new mum, who kind of had to adopt her straight away because she was just so young. And so they got along really quickly and really easily because they're like, Pip could tell that Squeak really just needed someone to look after her. There was no introducing problems because there was no reason to. Squeak was not a threat of any sort. She was just a little baby. And Pip really bonded. They were like inseparable. They were like best friends, and Pip had really taken over the job of being a mum. She's like, okay, this baby needs mum, I will be her mum. And so when Chocolate Bullet here got introduced, maybe like a year later, or a little bit less, Pip was way too overprotective. Even though Squeak was now a year old and, you know, able to look after herself, like, Pip would not let Chocolate Bullet go anywhere near Squeak. And she wouldn't let her into the hidey, she would hog all the food, and Chocolate Bullet, even though Chocolate Bullet was a baby, and Pip should know that that shouldn't be a threat to anyone, Pip was just being way too overprotective, which means that Squeak never really got to meet Chocolate Bullet until, unfortunately, when Pip was 3, so that's a year later, when Pip died from a fox attack. You see, once our backyard was taken over by a granny flat, we then had to move to the front yard. And the front yard does not have any fences, and we did not know that foxes were going to be a problem. We did not know that, we knew that dogs would be on leads. We knew that cats would come out at night. And that we could put them in quicker. But one night I forgot to put them in as early as I should have. You know, it was like 7 or 8, and Pip and Nutella, not Nutella, Caramel, which was one of the babies that we were looking after at the time, a new little baby who we wanted to get Chocolate Bullet a friend, but Chocolate Bullet had just become this stubborn little girl because no one had really loved her, so she didn't know how to love people back, how to love guinea pigs back, that is. So that wasn't really working, but Pip was actually being like nice to Caramel, and since Caramel couldn't get back to the cage because there was a fox that I couldn't see, but I could definitely hear something in the bushes, and they couldn't get back to the cage. They knew that they should, and they always had, because they were free range. And so when I woke up that next morning, like, Pip was so mangled and dead that I couldn't even recognize her. That's how mangled she was. But luckily, Caramel, the little baby, survived, which makes me suspect that Pip sacrificed herself for Caramel. So I feel that she has redeemed herself from all the things that she put Chocolate Bullet through, because Chocolate Bullet went through rejectment. But meanwhile, because Pip was now, couldn't be overprotective, Squeak and Chocolate Bullet actually got to meet each other. And there was popcorning and chasing and everything, and working out dominance, because now that Pip was gone, they needed to have a new boss. And Chocolate Bullet actually became the new boss, even though she wasn't the oldest. Squeak had always been the little baby of the crew, because that's how Pip had always treated her, and that's how she always felt, because she had, like, that's how it had happened. And she didn't see anything wrong with being the baby, and like, because Pip was so overprotective, she treated her like a baby, and so Squeak just naturally acted like one. And now that there was no one to be the mother to the baby Caramel, Squeak became like the biggest mother ever, because she knew what it was like to be abandoned, and so she didn't want any baby guinea pig to feel that feeling, and so she was just like the most amazing mother. Chocolate became the big boss, and they started raising all the babies. Guinea pigs, I did not have a big cage, and I did not have enough money to afford a big cage, and I did not. And so my first idea for being safe in the boxes was just training the guinea pigs to come inside quicker. This kind of worked. It was kind of hard because we had a baby, and a cheeky baby at that. So Caramel quickly, died, unfortunately, and then we would get a new baby, and it seemed to be fine, and then, and then they would die, and so on and so forth. And we went through a lot of babies, and I don't really like talking about it because it's kind of embarrassing, but I can just kind of tell you the gist of it. We got Caramel, and then we got the twins, Toffee and Truffles. Truffles died pretty quick. So we got Toffee and Truffles during Christmas. You can see videos of that on my. You can see videos about that. I might try and link them in the description. They'll definitely be on YouTube. Unfortunately, Truffles died from Fox. Truffles was very cheeky, was not very good at being trained, and then we don't exactly know how Toffee died, but she died about like 8 months old, so we were like really thinking that it was all gonna be okay, and then Toffee died. Also, straight after, like a week after Truffles was gone, we got introduced to Nutella. Nutella was good for a while. We had it for a while. Nutella has quite an interesting story, which you can watch. And so we lost Pip, Caramel, Toffee, Truffles, well, maybe Toffee. And then there were foxes, and then not only did there were foxes, there were still foxes, but then cats started coming. Like right when we had finished training them, cats started coming, and I mean in like at daytime, which is stupid. Cats coming after guinea pigs at daytime, and they came and killed. And we couldn't find Toffee at the time, so we didn't know what had killed her, and there was no way of working out what had killed her, because she had just like not come back to the cage at one point, and then we started. We just didn't want them free range anymore after that, so we put them. And then Nutella got killed by a cat, and then once we saw it was a cat, we saw that there was no way they could be free range anymore, no matter how much training we did, that they would just not be safe. And I knew they wouldn't be happy in their small cage, but it's all that we could do. So we put them in their small cage and got a new one called Pom Pom, which is Daisy's sister, like from the same litter sort of sister. And she looked a lot like Stara, same sort of fur, but she was very small, and she had white and ginger and black. She was a very cute little guinea pig. And then Pom Pom died of what I believe of scared to death. Like they were in cages and everything, and then we found her dead one morning, which was really heartbreaking. And we had already just gotten Daisy at the time, and Pom Pom and Daisy had recognized each other and everything, and then suddenly Pom Pom was dead, and it was horrible. And so, but luckily the breeder was very understanding and didn't like other breeders that I have had didn't trust me with me buying another guinea pig with them. Luckily, she was very nice and gave me Stara for free, like just as a gift, and that was just like so happy. And ever since then, whenever I've had a problem and everything, or anything, I've relied on my breeder. And Squeak and Chockaball have gone through all of this together. And, you know, it's taken 5 years for it to be as good as it is now. Like, now we've got a good big cage, because the breeder recommended where to get good, affordable big cages. All the other big cages were not affordable for us, which is really good. And now we don't have to worry about the fact that when guinea pigs sick, we can't go to the vet, because we've had bad experiences with vets, and also because it's very expensive, and if we just have another bad experience, it, you know, won't be worth it. It won't be worth the money that we can't even afford anyway. So Mum just refuses to take the guinea pigs to the vet. And so now that we have a breeder who will do it all for free, who we trust, whenever we have any problems, we just call her, which is way better. And now just like all the problems are solved. Squeak and Chockaball are happy, but also closer than ever before, and like stronger than ever before, and prepared for anything. Like, they know what to do. They're very good guinea pigs and a very good team. And I cannot wait until Squeak has her... Sorry, not Squeak. Until... until Daisy has her babies, because they'll be able to help her raise them, and it'll be just the most successful thing. They'll be the best team ever. That is the life story of Squeak so far. She's gone through a lot of losses, but Chockaball has been through most of it with her, and they are now best friends. You cannot break them apart. Like, literally the other day, like, some of my friends, I love showing my guinea pigs to kids so that they know just how amazing guinea pigs are, and Squeak and Chockaball are my first goes to, because, you know, Daisy's pregnant and Star is still kind of learning how to stay still on somebody's lap. And Squeak and Chockaball will stay still, and they'll happily eat grass and show the kids how cute they are. But then what will happen is they'll jump onto the other person's lap, because they cannot stay apart for too long. It's hilarious. But like, they're like, but I want that one. It's not fair they have two. and right now, we can't just put Daisy on one of them. And so, you know, and like, we're not letting Daisy be held by anyone except for me. So, like, yeah. And I just really, really want to show you this. Daisy, it's okay. Go over here. Come up here. Stay here. Ready? So, if I feel down here, I can feel one here, I can feel one here, and I can feel one in the middle, I think. So, I think she's going to have 3. It's so cute. Alright, I'm going to put this in their other cage.